Question 1. What is the capital city of the Australian Capital Territory? A. Hobart. B. Perth. C. Canberra. Correct answer. C. Canberra. The Australian Capital Territory is located between Sydney and Melbourne. It is home to the nation's capital city, Canberra. Several national institutions are located in Canberra, including Parliament House and the High Court of Australia. Therein, Hobart is the capital city of Tasmania, and Perth is the capital city of Western Australia. Question 2. What does mateship mean? A. Helping and receiving help from others, especially in difficult time. B. A good friend. C. Australia's national food. Correct answer. A. Helping and receiving help from others, especially in difficult times. Mateship, in Australian culture, means helping and receiving help from others, especially in difficult times. Australians value mateship. In this spirit of mateship, Australia has a strong tradition of community service and volunteering to look out for each other and strengthen the community. Question 3. Which of the following statements about gender equality is not true? A. Men and women have equal rights. B. Men and women should possess equitable wealth. C. Men and women should have equal opportunities. Correct answer. B. Men and women should possess equitable wealth. Men and women have equal rights in Australia and should be provided equality of opportunity to pursue their goals and interests. Both men and women have equal access to education and employment, can vote at elections, stand for Parliament, join the Australian Defence Force and the Police Force, and are treated equally in courts of law. Question 4. Which of these statements about freedom of association is correct? A. Australian citizens have the freedom to join any lawful association. B. Australian citizens have the freedom to join any association. C. Australian citizens aged 18 years or over must join an organization. Correct answer. A. Australian citizens have the freedom to join any lawful association. In Australia, people are free to join or leave any group voluntarily, as long as it is within the law. People are free to join any legal organization, such as a political party, trade union, religious, cultural, or social group. Individuals cannot be compelled to join an organization or forced to leave it. Question 5. Judges and magistrates. A. Are the highest authority in a court. B. Are independent with the government. All of the above. Correct answer. C. All of the above. The judge or magistrate is the highest authority in a court. They are independent, and no one can tell them what to decide. Judges and magistrates are appointed by the government, but the government cannot take their jobs away if it disagrees with their decisions. Question 6. What is the capital city of the Northern Territory? A. Brisbane. B. Adelaide. C. Darwin. Correct answer. C. Darwin. The Northern Territory has a tropical environment in the north of the state and dry red desert in the south. Darwin is the capital city. Northern Territory icons include Uluru, Kata Tjuta, and Kings Canyon. Therein, Brisbane is the capital city of Queensland, and Adelaide is the capital city of South Australia? Question 7. When it comes to freedom of expression, everyone can A. Make up false charges. B. Express their views, including through art, film, music, and literature. C. Damage the reputation of others. Correct answer. B. Express their views, including through art, film, music, and literature. Freedom of expression means people can express their views, including through art, film, music, and literature. People are free to meet in public or private places for social or political discussion. At all times, even while engaging in freedom of speech and freedom of expression, the laws of Australia must be obeyed. Question 8. How did Australia become a nation? A. Following an independence war. B. Using a violent civil revolution. Using a peaceful negotiation and referendum. Correct answer, C. Using a peaceful negotiation and referendum. The process of Australia becoming a nation involved peaceful negotiations and discussions among representatives from different colonies. Over time, these negotiations led to the drafting of the Australian Constitution, which outlined the framework for a federated nation. To further solidify the decision, a referendum was held where the Australian people had the opportunity to vote and express their support for the creation of a unified nation. Question 9. Australia's system of government is a parliamentary democracy. What does this mean? Australian citizens vote for people to represent them in Parliament. B. The power of the government comes from the Australian people. C. All of the above. Correct answer. C. All of the above. Australia's system of government is a parliamentary democracy. Our laws are determined by parliaments elected by the people. This means that Australian citizens are involved in how the country is governed. The power of the government comes from the Australian people because Australian citizens vote for people to represent them in Parliament. Question 10. Australian society values the equal rights of all people, regardless of A. Gender or sexual orientation. B. Religion or race. C. All of the above. Correct answer. C. All of the above. Australian society values the equal rights of all people, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, age, disability, religion, race, or national or ethnic origin. There are a number of laws in Australia that protect a person from being treated differently from others. Question 11. Where came the early free settlers from? A. China. Great Britain and Ireland. Portugal. Correct answer. B. Great Britain and Ireland. European settlement started when the first 11 convict ships, which became known as the First Fleet, arrived from Great Britain on 26 January 1788. Early free settlers came from Great Britain and Ireland. This British and Irish heritage has had a major influence on Australia's recent history, culture, and politics. Question 12. How many languages do Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia speak? A. Less than 100. B. 100. C. More than 100. Correct answer. C. More than 100. Australia's first inhabitants are the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, who have the oldest continuous cultures and traditions in the world. They speak a lot of languages, including more than 100 distinct Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander languages. Question 13. What is the current population of Australia? A. 15 million people. B. 20 million people. C. 26 million people. Correct answer. 26 million people. The current population of Australia is 26,914,179 as of April 11, 2025, based on the latest United Nations estimates. Australia's population is equivalent to 0.33% of the world's total population. Question 14. Australians believe that they cannot change the law or someone's beliefs through A. Discussion. B. Violent protest. C. Peaceful persuasion. Correct answer. B. Violent protest. Australians believe that change should occur through discussion, peaceful persuasion, and the democratic process. We reject violence as a way to change a person's mind or the law. Question 15. Why did people want to unite the colonies to form a single nation? A. Because trade and transport between the colonies were expensive and slow. B. Because enforcing the law across borders was difficult. All of the above. Correct answer. C. All of the above. After British settlement and before 1901, Australia was made up of 6 separate, self-governing British colonies. Each colony had its own constitution and laws relating to defense, immigration, postage, trade, and transport. However, this created difficulties between the colonies. For example, trade and transport between the colonies was expensive and slow, and enforcing the law across borders was difficult. The separate colonies also had weak systems of defense. Question 16. Which of these statements about freedom of religion is correct? A. Australia has an official national religion. B. Religious laws have no legal status in Australia. The government applies differential treatment to certain religions. Correct answer. Religious laws have no legal status in Australia. Religious laws have no legal status in Australia. Australian law must be followed by everyone in Australia, including where it is different from religious laws. Some religious or cultural practices, such as polygamy, being married to more than one person at the same time, and forced marriage, are against the law in Australia and can result in severe legal penalties, including imprisonment. Question 17. What is Australia's age of sexual consent? A. 14 or 15 years old, depending on which state or territory you reside in. B. 16 or 17 years old, depending on which state or territory you reside in. 18 or 19 years old, depending on which state or territory you reside in. Correct answer. B. 16 or 17 years old, depending on which state or territory you reside in. In Australia, there are very strict laws concerning the age of sexual consent, which is 16 or 17 depending on which state or territory you reside in. For example, in Australia, a 20-year-old man cannot have sexual relations with a 15-year-old girl because that is against the law in all Australian states and territories. Question 18. Which of the following statements about the jury is false? A. In a criminal trial, if the jury finds a person guilty, the jury decides the penalty. B. A court will use a jury in some cases to decide if a person has broken the law. A jury is a group of ordinary Australian citizens randomly chosen from the general population. Correct answer. A. In a criminal trial, if the jury finds a person guilty, the jury decides the penalty. A court will use a jury in some cases to decide if a person has broken the law. The role of a jury is to decide in court if a person is innocent or guilty. A jury is a group of ordinary Australian citizens randomly chosen from the general population. The judge explains the law to the jury. In a criminal trial, if the jury finds a person guilty, the judge decides the penalty. Question 19. Has the power to make and change the laws in Australia? A. The Parliament. B. The courts. The Prime Minister. Correct answer. A. The Parliament. The Parliament has the power to introduce new laws, amend existing laws, or repeal outdated laws. The legislative process includes open discussions, Parliament review, and voting. Once a bill is passed by both Houses of Parliament, the House of Representatives and the Senate, and receives royal assent from the Governor-General, it becomes law and governs Australia. Question 20. What is the biggest annual public holiday in Australia? A. Australia Day. B. Anzac Day. Christmas Day. Correct answer. A. Australia Day. On 26 January each year, we celebrate Australia Day. Australia Day is a public holiday in every state and territory in Australia. It is the anniversary of the arrival of the First Fleet from Great Britain in 1788. On Australia Day, communities across Australia reflect on our history and the people who have contributed to our shared achievements. It is the biggest annual public holiday in Australia. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel.